You used that girl like a slave inside your own house and you still went to steal
No such thing.
what belongs to her?
That is a lie.
I swear, before this week ends, everybody go know your name.
My people, today's story. Before I tell you how it ended, let me take you back to where it all began. In the busy town of Abeokuta, Ogun State, where the rocks of Olumo stand tall and the market women sing as they sell, there lived two girls who grew up drinking from the same well. If Bimbo was cool water, Mama Titi was kerosene waiting for a match. Bimbo was a quiet girl with soft eyes and a back that never complained. She woke up before the sun every morning. She swept the compound, fetched water from the tap at the end of the street, and still had time to plait her hair before school. The neighbors called her the daughter everyone wanted. Her mother, a woman named Iya Bimbo, sold ogi by the roadside and used every coin to keep Bimbo in school. Mama Titi was different. She grew up in the same compound, but she walked like the ground owed her something. Her mother bought her the finest Ankara in the market, and she wore it to remind people she was better than them. She did not fetch water. She did not sweep. She pointed at things and expected hands to appear. When they were young, nobody thought much of the difference. Children are children. But when Iya Bimbo fell sick and died on a Wednesday morning in November, everything changed for Bimbo. She was 17 years old, with one dress, half a notebook, and no family left in Abeokuta. It was Mama Titi who came to the compound that same week. She stood at the door with a wrapper tied high on her chest and said, "Come and stay with me. I will take care of you." Bimbo carried her small bag and followed her. My people, that was the first mistake. From the night Bimbo entered that house in the GRA area of Abeokuta, she did not sleep like a guest. She slept like someone who owed a debt she could never finish paying. She woke at 5. She cooked. She cleaned. She washed Titi's school uniform. She scrubbed the kitchen floor on her knees, while Titi ate fried eggs and watched television. Nobody called her by her name in that house. They called her girl. They called her this one. They called her come here. But there was one thing in that house that always stopped when Bimbo passed by. The mirror in the hallway. Every time Bimbo walked past it, the mirror seemed to hold her longer than it should. One Monday morning, a white envelope arrived at the house. Mama Titi picked it up from the gate and read it twice. Then she sat down and read it again. Her hands were shaking small. It was a letter from a lawyer in Lagos. It said that a man named Chief Adegoke of Ibadan had passed away and left his entire estate to the daughter of his late friend, a woman named Iya Bimbo of Abeokuta. My people. Mama Titi stood up slowly. She walked to the kitchen where Bimbo was peeling yam. She folded the letter and put it inside her brassiere. Then she smiled and said, "Bimbo, go and iron Titi's dress. Dinner should be ready by 6. She did not say one word about the letter, not one word. That same evening, Mama Titi traveled to Lagos with her good handbag and her best shoes. She told Bimbo she was visiting a friend. She came back 3 days later, looking like someone who had just swallowed a secret and enjoyed the taste. My people, have you ever seen someone smile and you just know the smile is not for you? That the thing making them happy is something they took from you? Some smiles have teeth inside them. Now, my people, before we go further, let me ask you something that I need you to answer honestly in the comments. If you found out that someone was hiding good news that belonged to you and using your own hands to serve them breakfast every morning, what would you do? Would you confront them or would you wait and plan? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you have not subscribed to Folktales with Chioma, do it now before Mama Titi hides your own letter too. Mama Titi did not waste time. The very next morning, she sat at her dressing table and wrote a letter back to the lawyer in Lagos. She used her best handwriting. She said she was writing on behalf of Bimbo, who was her ward and could not travel. She said Bimbo was a simple girl who did not understand legal matters and had given her full authority to handle everything. My people, she signed that letter with her own name and pressed her thumb on the stamp like she was the one who had been chosen. She dressed in her purple lace that Saturday and took a bus to Lagos. She carried a file folder with documents inside. Some of the documents had Bimbo's name on them, but the signature was not Bimbo's. Mama Titi had practiced that signature on a piece of paper the night before. Bimbo was in the kitchen frying akara and did not know that her name was on a bus to Lagos without her. At the lawyer's office on Awolowo Road in Ikoyi, Mama Titi sat down, crossed her legs and told the lawyer that Bimbo was unwell and had sent her. She presented the documents. She smiled her best smile. The lawyer, a tired man named Mr. Fashola, who had too many files on his desk, stamped the papers without asking enough questions. By 4 o'clock that afternoon, Mama Titi was sitting in a cold bus back to Abeokuta with a receipt in her handbag and a plot of land and a house in Ibadan now processing in her name. She came home, changed her clothes, sat at the dining table and called out, "Bimbo, where is my dinner? I have been traveling all day and I am tired." Bimbo brought the food and set it down quietly. My people, the devil always eats first. 3 weeks passed. Then one Tuesday afternoon, a young man knocked on the gate of Mama Titi's house. He was wearing a blue shirt and carrying a brown envelope. He said his name was Kunle and he was a junior lawyer from Mr. Fashola's office in Lagos. He said he needed to speak with Bimbo directly. Mama Titi came to the gate with her wrapper tied high and her eyes narrow. She said Bimbo was not available. Kunle said he would wait. Mama Titi said there was nothing to wait for. Kunle smiled politely and said the matter was sensitive and required Bimbo's physical presence and her fingerprints on a final document. My people, that word, fingerprints. Mama Titi's left eye twitched. She told Kunle to come back the next day. Kunle said his oga, Mr. Fashola, had sent him specifically because some of the earlier documents had raised questions. A signature had not matched an old school record they found for Bimbo in the Abeokuta local government registry. The office needed to verify everything before the transfer could be completed. That night, Mama Titi did not sleep. She walked from the bedroom to the kitchen 4 times. She snapped at Titi for breathing too loud. She poured a full cup of tea down the sink without drinking it. In the morning, she called Bimbo and sat her down. She said, "Listen, a lawyer is coming today. I need you to just sign where they show you and say nothing else." She said it with a soft voice and a soft face. The same face she used when she first said, "Come and stay with me." Bimbo looked at her quietly and said, "Sign what, Mama Titi?" Mama Titi smiled and said, "Do not worry, just trust me." My people, a trap always looks like help. Kunle came back the next morning with Mr. Fashola himself. Mr. Fashola was not a tired man that day. He had a fresh shirt, a leather briefcase, and 2 printed documents in his hand. He sat in Mama Titi's parlor on the plastic-covered sofa and placed everything on the center table. He said, "We need Bimbo to confirm some things." Mama Titi sat beside Bimbo with her hand on Bimbo's knee, pressing, a quiet warning disguised as affection. Mr. Fashola opened the first document. He said, "This is the signature that was submitted to our office 3 weeks ago as yours." He slid it across the table toward Bimbo. Bimbo looked at it. She looked at it for a long time. My people, she had never seen that signature before in her life. She looked up at Mr. Fashola and said, "I did not sign this." The parlor went cold. Mama Titi laughed a short, sharp laugh and said, "Bimbo, you are confused. You forget things. You know how you are." Bimbo said, "I have never been to Lagos. I have never met you before today, sir. I did not sign anything." Mr. Fashola opened the second document. It was a certified copy of Bimbo's primary school record from Abeokuta, with her full name, her mother's name, Iya Bimbo, and her date of birth. Attached to it was a small photograph, a little girl with soft eyes and a quiet face. Mr. Fashola looked at Bimbo, then he looked at the photograph, then he looked at Mama Titi. He said, "Madam, I think you have some explaining to do." Mama Titi's hand slipped off Bimbo's knee. Elder Boniface from next door had heard everything through the open window. By evening, the whole street knew. My people, justice does not always shout. Sometimes it knocks quietly on your gate in a blue shirt carrying a brown envelope. Mr. Fashola reported everything to the proper authorities that same week. Mama Titi was called to the Abeokuta police station on a Thursday morning. She went in wearing her purple lace. She did not come out the same way she went in. The house and land in Ibadan that Chief Adegoke had left behind were returned to Bimbo in full. Mr. Fashola processed everything himself this time. He even apologized for not asking enough questions the first time. Bimbo left Mama Titi's house on a Friday afternoon with her small bag, the same bag she came with. But this time, she was not following anyone. She was walking to her own address. Titi watched from the window and said nothing. My people, let me ask you something before we close today. If someone gave you food and shelter, but was secretly stealing your future every single morning, would you call that kindness, or would you call it a transaction? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to read every single one. Now, here is what this story teaches us. 1. The person who acts like they are helping you is not always helping you. 2. Documents lie, but fingerprints do not. 3. What belongs to you will find you. It may take time, but it will find you. And the universal truth that every person must carry, how you treat someone when they have nothing, reveals everything about who you truly are. My people, if you believe that, drop a comment and say, I see you. And as you comment and like and subscribe for part 2, may God protect everything that belongs to you. May no hand that means you harm ever find what is yours. Go well, my people.